So, Inosuke is one of my favorite characters in Demon Slayer. So I'm gonna render his colors as best of my ability as I can. So as always, we start with a lil circle. Now, fluff isn't really my medium, but his boar head is too cool to leave out. Plus, animal skin is an awesome touch to any character. I've always struggled with pig noses, so if I mess up, that's very common. As always, my art is a serious trust the process. None of my art looks good at the start. Art takes patience and talent, and most importantly, lots and lots of practice. I struggled with the eyes with this drawing because his mask has very uniquely shaped eyes, so I start with a little scribble first and then update it as I go. Since the boar tusks are so small, I think he's wearing the head of a female boar. This could have some significance to the story, but I've only gotten to the last episode of season 1, so maybe this could have a bit of meaning. His ears are kind of a gradient from gray to pink, so I tried to blend it to give it that mixed blur. I can kind of see in most animal ears there's a small tuft of fur coming from the inside. Now, with the head done, we add some details. Later on, I decided to edit the head a while after. I thought it would be better with a larger, more protruded nose to give it more of a pig vibe. Because, well, he's a pig. Now, I added more of a crease in between the eyebrows because if you look closely, you can kind of see the border between where the eye ends and the forehead starts. So the brow line was pretty simple, a curved line guiding around the head to give it more of a 3D appearance. I ended up hating the abomination I had created and started the bottom half over again. I added a more simple shaped nose so it doesn't draw too much attention from his body, which I will draw later. To get that animal pelt shape, I made more outwards tufts of fur so it didn't look like the boar head was literally a part of his body. Honestly, I love drawing eyes, so this part was very fun. His unique colors were really interesting and funner to draw. Now let's take a good look at this angry boar man. You can see the unique shape of his swords and small details all over his body to give it that hint of realism. Now that I had a closer look at his boar head, I had a better picture in mind on the shape and where I was going to shade. I marked the area where the tip of his nose would be and started to shape it. The nose came out really well in my opinion, but it still needed work. I add the nostrils, which were not symmetrical, so I tried my best to give them a wonkier look to make it unperfect. Add the tusks again and voila. All we need is some more details and we'll be on our way to the main more exiting bit. It took me a while to find the right brush, but I settled on this watercolor brush. Finally, I got to coloring, my favorite part that gives my art a little pop of color. Time for color. He has this loud booming voice, really iconic and obnoxious. Just screams, "Fight me," which his thing is really funny. Honestly, this drawing will probably need to be separated into 2 parts, because I'm too lazy to edit a single incredibly long video. Plus, I don't really have the time to record a really long video of me drawing. Now, his grayish tint in the mask complements in the light gives of the style of the creator and how he portrays his story. When his face was revealed, it honestly surprised me. His face is surprisingly feminine, and I was expecting to be greeted by a large masculine face, but blessed with a reason to make fun of him. In a poking fun way, not a being mean as in actually judging him. Finally, I get to the eye shading. This work took me a long time, so please click the like button or even subscribe. Without further ado, time for shading. I added more of a crease in between the eyebrows and forehead. Nose shading. Tusk shading. Lil bit of rendering. Now for the highlights. Highlights. Now for more details. Now let's watch Toasty make a bunch of pointless mistakes. Some more little details for the fur. Fur is important. Furry details. More shading and outlining. Let's get rid of these ugly guidelines. They've been bugging me the whole time. Gotta get in between the lines. A bit more cleaning up. Even more details. Blending. More blending. You guessed it, more blending. Beautiful. Well, that's it for today's speed paint. Check out part 2 once it comes out. Bye.